Hey y'all, welcome back to the Chalk Sports Podcast. Today it's just me, but that's fine. That's fine. We don't need anyone else. We're going to go over NFL news, go over a preview, and we're going to touch on some college basketball in the later. But let's get right into this. We are recording on January 24th at 10:20. So, any news that happens, I don't know. So, let's lead into it. We got Ohtani news. So, Shohei Ohtani, Dodgers fan, Shohei Ohtani did basically get his name cleared. His former translator tried to pull money out of the Dodgers account. I don't remember exactly. I think it was like 200K, something like that. I don't remember exactly how it went down, but that is big because everyone thought, oh, he's the gambler. He did it. The guy took the fall for him. No, we just basically got it confirmed unless he's playing us. But I think too hard. That's too much thinking. I don't think he's playing us. I think he actually did get robbed. And this was the final send off that the translator thought he could get away with. Didn't get away with it. Now, Winkler's name basically. He's not a gambler anymore. We thought he was. We thought he put all the money in. I thought it personally, and I'm a Dodgers fan. But no, that cleared it. So we got some. Now, that was a quick baseball touch up. Baseball season hasn't started yet, so not a lot to talk on that game. We're going to move to the head coaches because we got a lot of news lately. So yesterday was a huge news day. So many hires, so many rumors. Let's start with the one that happened a while ago, but I didn't get to touch on it. Ben Johnson to the Bears. Personally, I think it's an A-plus move. I think it's the smartest move they could have done. It makes total sense. He's perfect in Chicago with a new rookie quarterback. It'll work. I don't see how it couldn't. You got a good coach who's super creative in the things he does. He makes great ideas and he turns them into successful plays. That's how you win football games. You have creative, different things that shake up the game. Because right now, the NFL's kind of gotten back to its roots. I was personally always for the RPO offense with a run pass option on every play. But I do like what Ben Johnson's doing because he's not scared to try something new. That fumble play was the craziest play, but it worked. The J-Mo play where he threw the pick was a crazy play. It didn't work, but he tried it. And if it did work, it was a very explosive play. And right now, the NFL's ran by explosive plays. Pretty sure the top teams in the NFL have the top explosive play counts. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know the Lions had the most, and the Lions were the number one team. Just saying that out of the way. We'll move on to the next team. The Pats get Mike Vrabel. This one was more recent, a little bit ago too, but we never touched on it. I want to touch on it now. Mike Vrabel is the coach of the future. He's the smartest coach to pick, and it only makes sense to sign him for the Pats. If it was the Bears, if it was the Bucks, not the Bucks, the Jets, the Cowboys, any other team, Mike Vrabel wouldn't make sense. But just because it's the Pats, he played for the Pats. He was coached by Belichick. He coached for Belichick. Now he's in as their head coach. That is a smart move. It builds legacy. It helps just in general. It's a very good culture move. It builds culture. He's a great coach. I don't know why he didn't get picked up last cycle, but he got it here this year. That was a good one. But let's talk about another full cycle because this one is newer. No one's really talked about. Aaron Glenn to the Jets. What the hell? I mean, okay. I can't decide if I like it or not. I do like the cycle idea of it, though. Going from a guy who played for you from the 80s, 1988, I think he was drafted in, and he was a great player, played 13 seasons, has been there for a while. But do you really want another infuse of Jets culture and defensive coordinatorness? That's the problem with it, is you hired Saleh. Saleh didn't work out, but his defense was good. You fire Saleh and then hire another defensive coordinator when you're supposed to be putting in a rookie in the next 2-3 years. That's not a great move. I'm worried about this move because Aaron Glenn might get bullied around and it might just be a Jets fumble. There are so many better coaches. You could have gone with McCarthy. You could have gone with any college coach. You could have gone with, heck, Darren Rizzi would be a decent pickup because actually, no, he's a more defensive coach. There's so many good better options though. I don't 100% agree with this, but I don't hate it. I think it's a full dysfunction from the top down. So it was an alright move. So some of the recent ones was the Cowboys. Cowboys rumors spread quickly because it's the Cowboys. First it was Dion, then it was Keepin McCarthy. Now it's the OC, a Scootermaker or something like that. I can't remember his exact name, but he might be the move. I know that offense doesn't look great, but they turned a no Dak Prescott team to 9-8, and Dak Prescott ain't great. I'm never gonna say he's great. He's probably a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL, but he is what he is, and he's better than Cooper DeJean, or not Cooper DeJean, sorry, Cooper Rush, and he's better than what they could have had. And I don't disagree with the move completely. I think it's not a bad move if you end up doing it. It's not going to put up the headlines that Jerry wants, so that might be a concern. That might be the biggest concern, is that I don't know if they'll do it because of the headlines, because that's all Jerry thinks about right now. We'll see though. I believe that the Cowboys will make the wrong move, even though I am at this point I kind of hope they make a decent move because then they can go back to being hated. So next we got the Jags finalizing a deal with Liam Cohen. Now, I know it's not official, but it seems to be happening, considering Liam Cohen told the Bucks that he was staying in Tampa and then pulled out a day after, flies to Jacksonville, interviews, and now is signing a contract. What a smoke and mirrors play. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was the Jags making a big move. They fired Bulky, and then Liam comes back. We'll talk about the Bulky fire later. But I think that was the thing that broke him. I think he saw that Bulky was gone and wanted in. Because why wouldn't you want it? Jags aren't bad. They have a future. BTJ, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Hines Allen. Defensive corners aren't bad. Their safeties aren't bad. They're not a bad team. It was just never well coached and it was never well run. And now Bulky's out, and that was the start of their problems. So we'll move on. We'll talk more about Liam when we get to the Bulky part. So let's talk about the Raiders, because I've been hearing some rumors. I've been listening around, and I've been seeing Pete Carroll. Nothing's official. Take that with a grain of salt. But Pete Carroll is rumored to go to the Raiders, and that would be sick. I think him going to the Raiders would be a huge, great move for its future. Bringing him back into the NFL. Those guys can't stay away from the NFL. They can't. They don't shy away from it. They love it. They stay for the NFL. And they go back in, and then they get tempted back in. They miss those on field. And that's what's happening with Pete Carroll, I think. And I think that's why he's been thrown out there. And I think that's a good move for Brady. It's a really interesting rivalry move because that's like he hired Eli. But I mean, he hired the guy who lost him in the Super Bowl. So actually, it's not like that at all. But there's not a lot to talk about this. I think that's the best move they can do. I don't know if there's a ton of coaches out there that I think are better. I think Pete Carroll could still have it. It's very risky because he's a DC and they need some offensive talent. But I think they could go for coordinators, and I think Pete Carroll would have the connections to go for coordinators. Just don't go for an outdated offense because that's a run. The Tomlin issue is he's out of an outdated offense. Everyone can pick it apart because they've seen it for the last 20 years. So, on to the next one. We got the Saints. And honestly, I haven't heard anything. It's been AWOL, radio silent, nothing from the Saints. So I got some ideas because I'm allowed to fanfic if there's no moves, right? That makes sense. Makes sense. Stands up. What about Marcus Freeman? I doubt he'll go. It's a Notre Dame. He's kind of probably going to stay at Notre Dame. He built something up. He's not going to leave it like that. But why not? Why not take your NFL job? And why not offer him? Saints. He goes from the Saints from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Christian school to the Saints. Our Saints. I think it just works. There's just something about that program building style that he has that I like about him. I like his way of play and I like his coaching style. They just lost the national championship, but they were out talented by 100 miles. No one expected them to make it this far. They beat Georgia, who's way better than them talent wise. They beat Penn. No, who did they beat to get there? They beat Penn State to get there. Penn State talently is better. And they almost beat they lost to Ohio State by 10. Talently is better. But that's one of them. The other one I like, Marcus, or no. Oh, I just friggin' lost it. Johnny Dillingham, something like that. The ASU coach, Arizona State's coach. He was a great impact for the Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham? That's what it was. He was a huge impact for a team that was projected to be last in their conference. Give him an NFL job, because you could look at the Saints and go, they're not that good right now. But give Kenny Dillingham the reins. Let them take Scadaboo in the third or second round. Give the OCs to the Saints. Pick Arizona State apart. Get their defensive coordinator. Get their offensive coordinator. Build that team up so that Kenny Dillingham can win with them now. And I think that is the right move. They're not probably going to do it because he's not proven enough. But I think that is the best move. You get a young coach who has a great future. Get his star player that brought them to a final. They beat who they beat. I'm blanking now. They almost beat Texas. They made the playoffs, projecting to be last, and almost beat the number 5 team in the country. That's how good they were. And they're slept on. And they were only one bad targeting call away from winning that game. And Texas isn't good, but Texas isn't bad either compared to an ASU school that was, again, projected to be last. I think he's the right move. Let's move on to the GM moves because we got some good news. So let's go straight to the bulky. And we'll talk about Liam. But thank God he's gone. I'm wearing a Niners jersey right now. I'm wearing my Hufunga military jersey. Trent Baalke was the reason the Niners broke apart. The reason we didn't win a Super Bowl. The reason Harbaugh left for Michigan. The reason everything went downhill for another 20 years after Baalke gone. Not 20, 10 years. He's the reason we fell apart. And he's a curse to any franchise he touches. He breaks teams apart. He's a home wrecker. He's a home wrecker of GMs. He ruins teams' futures. And I think Liam Cohen knew that. And Liam Cohen did not want to deal with that. But they fired him. And now Trent is gone. You can hire a new GM. And you can build from there with Liam. Too bad the Bucs assistant GM already got picked up because he would have been great. But I think there's some teams that would like him, that would like to work with Liam, and I think he would be the smart move to do. Because again, like I said, the Jags aren't bad. They're poorly built, and they have talent, but they had poor coaching too. But I don't think that's not disrespect to Peterson. That's a bad GM, and that's Trent Baalke. So on to that, let's go to the Raiders, who got the former Bucs assistant John Spike. I don't know. He built the Bucs up, so he turned that Tampa Bay Bucs that won a Super Bowl back into a team in one rebuild. Not even a rebuild year. One rebuild year it took to get back to where they were. And they were in the playoffs 2 times in a row. This year there was an unfortunate loss, but it was the Jaden Daniels team that beat the Lions. And they only lost by 3 on a doinked kick. That's some good future looks, and I think that's the smart thing to do, is to, if you're the Raiders, build up a staff of non-dysfunctional people. Build up a team that can win. So, continue with that. We get the Titans got Mike Borgonozzi. I don't remember who he is fully, but he might be the fix. Hold on, let me double check who he is. I remember him being a decent a decent GM when I was doing research for this, but I can't remember for sure. He previously. Oh, he's the Chiefs one. Oh, yeah, he's the Chiefs scouting and executive roles. Okay, yeah, that's a great. It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. You can take anybody out of the Chiefs and make them pretty good. Brian Callahan will have somebody to work with for once. And I think that's the right move for the Titans because then they get somebody who's proven winner, won 3 Super Bowls, potentially 4. He will work, I think. I think the Titans already have a really well built team. They just needed some spark, something, a quarterback, mainly just a quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. Another one, so the Jets. They're looking around, but there's no big news. And I think they're sleeping on someone. Chris Spielman, the Lions assistant coach or GM. Why would you not go for that guy? We're talking about a team who literally just hired their DC. Why wouldn't you go for the guy who is built with him, who's helped him, who's worked with him, who has the same vision? Building a team off of a vision that the coordinator, that the GM and the coach share is crucial. I mean, that's all I got really to say about that one. That's up to the Jets on what they decide to do. So let's talk about the Niners news because I want to give them some credit. We got Saleh back, baby. We got the best defensive coordinator in the most recent history for the Niners, besides for DeMeco Ryans, and that is a huge addition. Brought us to the 2019 Super Bowl with the number 1 defense, and we had a decent offense. He's definitely a fix to a gaping hole we had. We had a huge problem with defensive coordinators. We had Steve Wilkes last year. This year, I don't even remember. I think the former Chargers coach. But our defenses were bottom of the league. We had DeMeco Ryans and Robert Saleh, and we were number 1. So the defense has the talent. It's about the coaching. We got the coaching back. So hopefully he'll be able to turn this around, right the ship, and we'll be back to our conference championship, Super Bowl, or miss the playoffs. So I don't think we have anything else for GM news and coaching and all that stuff. Staff moves are big. It's not going to calm down anytime soon. So keep an eye on the news sources, and I'll keep y'all updated on that. Let's move on to the games because we got some good ones. We got some really good games coming up. So the first one we got is the Commanders at the Eagles. 3:30 slate on Sunday. Wipe your schedules because this game is a great rematch of the already 2 games that were great. So, little thing for you. The Commanders are the 9th, 6th seed to make a conference championship game. Most recently was the 2021 Niners. But historically, the 6 seeds that win the conference championship often win the Super Bowl. So there have been a few that had the odds mounted against them. The Titans played the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl in 2019, and they were a 6th seed, and they had the lead at one point and then choked it away. So I like the Commanders in this game. I think the Eagles are very poor right now. I think they've been lackluster. They have no explosive plays besides for Saquon. And they had Saquon in the game that they played and lost. And Saquon did good. But Hurts looks like a worse. I think Tanner McKee could throw better than him right now. Now he's doing what he has to. He's doing the right role. He's playing it right. But he's looked like crap. And 2 touchdowns in the playoff, both of them in the first game. Both of them are not that great. They haven't been performing well. They just look lackluster, and I think that's what's going to bite them in the butt. So, but I think everything does point in the Eagles' direction. Even though the Commanders have one saving grace, and that's Jaden Daniels. And I think the reason they win this game is because Jaden Daniels throws for 300 yards. 300 yards, he's going to run the ball. He's a great quarterback. He's their future top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That's way too early to say. My bad. He's probably top 10. He's top 10 at least. I don't know the list. I don't have a list off right now. But along with that, he is the number one remaining wide receiver in the NFL right now. Remaining as in still actively playing. Because the only one you could consider is A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown hasn't looked great. Terry's consistently getting 50. Consistently getting 60-50. Khalil Shakir's not bad, but Terry McLaurin's really good. He's really, really good. And I think those two together could beat the Eagles defense, who blocked them down in the first game, but then they won the second game. Stick to your game plan, Cliff, because this is where it matters. If Cliff Kingsbury keeps to his game plan, doesn't change it up, doesn't get too fancy, we could see it happen. We could see the upset. If he gets fancy, if he doesn't, or he doesn't play like an underdog, that's the difference. You have to play like an underdog. You have to play like the Broncos in the first half of that Bills game, where you go for force, you play risky, you play because you have nothing to lose. The Commanders have no way of losing this game mentally. You either lose this game and you come out of the season with a conference championship appearance in the first year of your new star quarterback, or you come out of this game with a loss, or you come out of this game with a win and is going to the Super Bowl with your new star quarterback and might win it all. Because once they make it to the Super Bowl, who's stopping them? Because that means they beat the Eagles, and I consider the Eagles one of the best teams in the National Football League up to this point, and I still think they are, even though I hate it. It's just Dane Daniels. It's Jane Daniels, it's Jane Daniels, and it's Jane Daniels. It's Jane Daniels, it's Terry McLaurin. He is the difference, and he will make that difference. But I think that Eagles defense is very good. That Eagles defense can hold up well, and they will. Because it's the Eagles. They always will manage to hold up well, and I don't hate that about them. They're reasonable. They're a consistent team that had playoff struggles, and they haven't looked great this year. But they had a 9-game win streak where they beat the Ravens. They beat a Ravens team that was really good. They disassembled the Steelers team that was pretty solid up to that point, and they beat a Rams team 2 times, both times, pretty decently, except for this last one. But if we look just off last games, Commanders are going to win by 30. But if we look off and go, oh, hey, the Eagles aren't as bad as they looked recently. They looked bad against the the Packers, and they looked bad against the Rams. We'll see how it goes. I think it's a Commanders win. I would go Commanders plus 6.5. I'd buy up to plus 10 for pure safety. I love Jaden Daniels passing line. I think it's 220. But so turnover differential will be huge. Every game's basically been decided on turnover differential unless you're playing the Chiefs. So we'll see how good Hurts looks. Because right now, Jaden Daniels has been historically pretty solid when it comes to turnovers. He doesn't do it a lot. He doesn't throw a lot of bad balls. He doesn't throw dumb passes. It's like Caleb. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be a Commanders win. That's probably my pick, actually, would be Commanders win, money line. But we got to move on to the next game because I know everyone's itching to talk about this game. Everyone's excited. Bills at Chiefs, rematch of the last 18 years. And I'm scared for the Bills. I'm very scared. I think the Chiefs have a pretty good chance. And it sucks. And I don't want it to happen. But god dang, is it going to be tough. In Arrowhead, the Bills have a tough chance. And I think they win this. I really hope they do. But the line's open Chiefs money spread. The Chiefs open to the Chiefs. And it's gone up. That's concerning because I think the Bills are kind of the bait of the week. At plus 1.5, that feels like a bait. It feels like a Vegas bait. I feel like they're just going to get you to click on that one, put it in, and then you're going to end up being punished for it, basically. I think it'll be dependent on how they play, obviously, and how well Josh Allen throws the ball. Because throwing the ball right now in the cold is crucial. So it's either you run the ball a lot and you have success there, or pass the ball a lot and have success there. You have to pick one against the Chiefs. Because you can't pick both. You can't do good on both sides. You either have to get them into a passing habit or get them into a running habit. If you get them into a running habit, then you can open up to play action. It's all about conditioning. It's a chess match on that field. And if it becomes a chess match, like I think it will, I think I like the Chiefs just because it's superior coaching. I'm very concerned for this game because I think the Chiefs will probably win this game because not only do they have refs, they have the better coaching, the better overall player, and I mean Travis Kelce awakened. But I do think that the Bills stand a better chance there because Matt Milano is a great part of that defense, and that will be a huge tiebreaker. Give me the Chiefs, but give me the Bills spread. So basically, Chiefs to win by one. I think they'll win off of like a blocked extra point or something. And then I think the Super Bowl will be Commanders Chiefs, and then I'm going Commanders. I think the Commanders will be the Chief breaker. You know what? That would be a sick storyline actually. Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, comes in and beats out the Chiefs to take Patrick Mahomes' slot. That would be great. I hope it ends here. I hope their streak ends here and they lose to the Bills so they don't win a three-peat. But I do think it's going to be tough. And I don't think the Bills are complete, really. Wide receiver core is ugly. Tight ends have been bad lately. Besides for Deion Dawkins, that O-line looks not that great. Defensive line, not that great. Against one of the best O-lines in the NFL. Corners, all right. Safeties, all right. Linebackers, super studded. They're great there. Shane Steichen can cook, though, and that's concerning. I think he's going to force Josh Allen out to have Josh Allen make those Superman throws that work sometimes, but other times can consistently fail him and could shoot him in the foot. We'll have to see, though. I can't really review this a lot because I don't have anyone to bounce off of, but that's really all I got for that game. I believe in the Bills, but I also believe that the Chiefs are just that studded. So, we'll talk about college football. 31-24-21. Ohio State won. I called it on the last pod. We were watching the game while recording, and I said, this is where Ohio State tries to boat race. And they did boat race. But they did almost lose that too. And I think Marcus Freeman should go home, sit on his couch, throw up a few prayers, and thank God because they played great. This was a great season on a pretty consistently bad Notre Dame teams lately. And, I mean, you lost, yes, in the national championship. It sucks. Believe me. I know. Not from the Florida fan side, from the championship 49er side. And I think you just got to be happy with what you got. You didn't play bad. You didn't play great. You should have won. You probably could have won. But that's fine. Some of us don't have perfect games, and it's okay. Ryan Day, on the other hand, finally gets that monkey off his back. Ohio State wins one for the first time in like 10 years, since 2014, I think it was. Good for them, I guess. I mean, Big Ten looks pretty good this year. SEC had an off year. That's fine. We'll be back. Okay, there's not a lot for me to touch on. I've been trying. I don't know how much time's on this video, so we'll have to see. But we'll actually just try to close it up because I'm kind of running out of things. This is going to be the shortest pod we'll ever see, probably. So, South Carolina, we're going to talk about college basketball right now because I got two little storylines of teams that I love and that I think are playing great. So, South Carolina played Florida recently, and they had a 94% chance of beating Florida. But they choked it. Florida came back one by one. It was a great game. Great comeback for my boys. I love Florida this year. They're so good, and they are only getting better with the freshman out of IMG who's 7'8", taller than Shaq. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. They play 3 ranked opponents in the next 5 games, which is very concerning and could be a tough matchup overall. So the last one we'll go with Houston held an all-right TCU team to 36 points on 19 turnovers. That is insanity. They locked them down. They embarrassed the TCU. TCU got shredded. And that's really all you got to say about it. 19 turnovers is insane. Make sure you tune in Monday. Hopefully I'll have someone with me. We're gonna be recapping those games, and then we're gonna get closer to going to one episode and going over draft season and NBA and having more topic-based conversations. I love the future of the pod. Make sure to sub. We're getting good. 40 subscribers recently, which was an awesome feeling. We broke 30,000 views. We've been doing great. Love to see the support. Thank you guys. I'll see you all in the next one.